Hi everyone, welcome to this cold Berlin afternoon in January, day 16 of Watching Me Learn Spanish. Today I'm going to go through tracks 35 and 36 and then I'm going to finish up translating the video that I want to work on for the rest of the week. So let's get right into it.
So going back to ser and estar and the difference between ser and estar, how would you say sincerity in
Sinceridad.
Spanish? Sincerity.
Is it sinceridad?
It is sinceridad. So if you had to guess what is
Sinceridad.
sincere in Spanish, what would you guess?
Characteristic.
Sincero.
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 Sincero. Good. So there's no rule for this, but if we have sincerity becoming sinceridad, we can guess that sincere will be very similar in Spanish and we can play around and try to find the sincero. Good. So do you think to be sincere is a state or a characteristic?
Characteristic.
It can be both, depending on the situation.
Indeed. But if you look at the concept of sincere, because this is how Spanish decides it, the concept of sincere, is it a state or a characteristic to be sincere?
Well, if it's generally, it's a characteristic. But if we're talking about that moment that someone is saying something, then in that moment, they're in that state of being sincere.
You're right, and our usage, and that's what we're going to look at now, can get around that. But Spanish is not looking at the use. It's looking just at the concept by itself. So, sincerity, is it a characteristic or is it a state?
It's a characteristic.
Good. So, it goes with ser. So, if you want to say, I am sincere, how would you say it?
Soy sincero. Sincera.
Good. Soy sincera. Good. And we are sincere?
Somos sinceros. Somos sinceros.
Somos sinceras, if it's women.
Good.
Or sinceros.
Good. But, as you correctly said, you might want to say, I'm being sincere now. So, to give the meaning of I am being sincere, you will say very literally, I am being sincere. So how would you say that? I am being sincere.
Soy ser sincero.
Estoy. Forgot the word for being.
Ser is to be, in this case no, because it refers to sincero. So how would you make that ing? Vender, vendiendo, ser.
Estoy siendo sincero.
Or in your case it would be?
Sincera.
Good. Estoy siendo sincera. Or
Estoy siendo sincero.
estoy siendo sincero. Honest in Spanish is honesto. Honesto. So how would you say we are being honest?
Estamos cerrando honesto.
Estamos siendo honestos.
Good. Estamos siendo honestos.
Estamos
So to be
siendo
honest,
honestos.
as an idea, is characteristic. But this doesn't restrict us in Spanish. Of course, if you want to say we are being honest, we can do that in exactly the same way as we do in English. We are, estamos, being, siendo, our characteristic to be honestos. Estamos siendo honestos. Good. Salir is to go out or to leave. Salir, to go out or to leave. And it's irregular in that the I version is not salgo, but you remember how it was?
Salgo.
Salgo, good. Salgo, I leave or I go out, good. Soon in Spanish is pronto.
Pronto.
So you can say I'm leaving soon. Is soon right now?
No.
No. So how would you say I'm leaving soon?
Salgo pronto.
Salgo pronto.
Good. Salgo pronto. And how would you say I'm leaving tomorrow?
Salgo mañana.
Good. Salgo mañana. But if you want to say I'm leaving right now and you mean this moment?
Saliendo. Estoy saliendo.
Estoy saliendo.
Estoy saliendo. So we need to resist the temptation of the negative language transfer from English, which will make us want to put ing in many places where we don't put it in Spanish, which is why we are giving, usually in the present tense, both translations. I wait, I'm waiting. I sell, I'm selling. To buy was comprar.
Comprar.
I buy them, or I'm buying them. How would that be?
Los estoy comprando. Or los compro.
Los compro.
Los compro. Good. I'm buying them tomorrow.
Los compro mañana.
Los compro mañana.
Good. I'm buying them next week. Next week is the week that comes.
Los compro la semana que viene.
Semana is the week. What is to come?
Que viene.
Venir.
Good. So how would you say the week that comes? La semana que?
Viene.
So I'm buying them next week. I'm buying them the week that comes.
Los compro
Los
la semana
compro
que viene.
la semana que viene.
Good. Los compro la semana que viene. So again, here we would use the ing in English. I'm buying them next week, but we want to resist that temptation in Spanish. Los compro la semana que viene. If you wanted to say right now, so maybe you get a phone call and somebody asks you, have you bought them yet? And you say, I'm buying them now. How would you say that?
Estoy.
Los estoy comprando. Estoy comprándolos.
Estoy comprándolos ahora.
Good, good. I'm buying them now. Los estoy comprando ahora. Estoy comprándolos ahora.
Okay,
So
next
we
try.
saw that we can use the present tense to refer to the future. For example, if we have some future context, we can just use the present tense by itself. So we could say, I am having breakfast with them tomorrow. Now in Spanish, you don't say with them, you say with they. With they. So how would that be first?
Con
Desayuno
ellos.
Good.
con ellos.
And to have breakfast, we said, was to unfast.
Desayuno.
Desayunar. Like in English, breakfast, break, fast. So, I'm having breakfast with them tomorrow.
Desayuno con ellos.
Desayuno con ellos mañana.
Good. Desayuno con ellos mañana. Good. And if we don't have a future context, like mañana or any other context that's showing us it's the future, we can also use I am going to speak about the future. So you can say, I am going to have breakfast with them. How is that?
Voy a desayunar con ellos mañana.
Voy a desayunar con ellos. Con ellos.
Good. Voy a desayunar con ellos. Good. And if we had the future context, it doesn't mean we have to say desayuno con ellos mañana. We could also say voy a desayunar con ellos mañana. The fact that we have future context doesn't mean we can't use voy anymore. So we've seen in that way we can use the present to talk about the future. But this doesn't mean that we don't have a future tense in Spanish. We do. Luckily, we don't have to learn any new sounds to master the future tense in Spanish. The future tense in Spanish is connected with the past tense that we learn of haber. Haber, this past of I have had breakfast, or I have eaten, I have gone. So let's make a recap of the forms of haber. Now it's very irregular haber, and we said that a nice trick to remember the different forms of haber is just looking at the two vowel sounds inside the verb haber. So what are those two vowel sounds?
A and E.
Good. Let's start with e. What does e mean by itself?
I have.
Good. I have, spelled H-E. And what other person is connected with I? What's the plural of I,
We.
let's say?
Hemos.
Hemos.
Good. We. So we have e for I have and hemos for we have. What is a by itself? H-A.
He.
He, she, it. Or you, formal.
Good. So give me the other two versions now.
Us.
An.
Good. They or you guys.
Or you, yeah. And us, which is you, informal.
Good. So that's all said. Let's practice a little bit some structures with haber, just to recap. So, what was to sleep?
Dormir.
Dormant.
Dormir.
Good. So, how would you say I have slept? Begin with I have.
He dormido.
He dormido.
Good. We have slept.
Hemos dormido.
Hemos dormido.
He has slept.
Oh. Ha dormido.
Ha dormido.
Good. How would you say to recommend?
Recomendación. Recomendar.
Good. So, how would you say they have recommended it? They have.
Lo han recomendado.
Recommended it. And I remind you that with the structures with haber, the it has to come before haber. There's no option of where to put it. So they have recommended it.
Lo han recomendado.
Lo han recomendado.
Lo han recomendado. Good.
Lo han
So these
recomendado.
forms that we have, these forms of haber that we have, hemos, has, han, are also the endings that we have for the future tense. So like I said, we will learn the future tense now without having to learn any new sounds. Now, the interesting thing about the future tense is that we take the verb in its to form, where it's an ar verb, er verb, or ir verb, doesn't matter, and we put the ending at the end of the to form, and we stress the ending. We are effectively pushing the accent into the future. For example, we have comer, and what was I have from haber?
E.
E. So that's the sound without the H, just the sound E. That's the sound that we need for future, for I. We add that on to comer, and we get comere, and that's I
Comere.
will eat.
Comere.
Now we are pushing the accent into the future, which might just seem like a coincidence, but you can notice that it happens in other languages as well, this phenomenon. For example, in Greek, part of the past tense is to pull the accent back one syllable, to pull the accent back into the past. And actually, this is so important in Greek that if there is not a syllable there to do it, you add one to pull the accent back into the past. So this is a phenomenon that you see in different languages, the accents representing somehow or reflecting somehow the concept of time and tenses. So here we are pushing the accent into the future. Comere. I will eat. You can give me the rest of the versions for the future of comer.
Comerá.
Comeremos.
Comerás.
Good. Comeremos. We will eat.
Comerán.
Comerá.
Good. He will eat.
Comerás.
You informal will eat.
Comerán.
Good. They or you guys will eat. Good. What was to go? We said it was very irregular. We have
Ir.
boy and vamos and ba, but the verb to go doesn't look anything like them.
Ir.
Ir.
Ir. Ir in the future is regular. So we can follow these rules and get the future
Ire.
tenses of to
Ira.
go. I will
Ira.
go. He will go.
Iremos.
So what is I will go?
Irás. Irá.
Ire.
Ire. And we
Ire.
will go.
Iremos.
Iremos.
Iremos. He will go.
Irá.
Irá.
Irá. They or you
Irá.
guys.
Irán.
Iran, like the country. They will go to Iran.
Irán a Irán.
Iran a Iran. Good. You informal will go.
Irás.
Irás.
Good. And what if we wanted to make it a question? Will you go?
Irás.
Irás.
Good. Won't you go?
No irás.
¿No irás?
Why won't you go?
¿Por qué no irás?
¿Por qué no irás?
Good. What was to find or to encounter?
Encontrar.
Encontrar. I will find.
Encontraré.
Encontraré.
Good. Encontraré. I will find it.
Lo encontraré.
Lo encontraré.
Good. Lo encontraré. We will find it.
Los
Lo-
encontraré.
Lo
That was an interesting error
encontraremos.
because I said we, so I made I plural with we, and your mind made the it plural. Huh?
Lo
Yeah.
We will find
encontraremos.
Lo encontraremos.
Good. Lo encontraremos. He or she or you formal will find it.
Lo encontrará.
Lo encontrará.
Good. Lo encontrará. He will find them or she will find them or you formal will find them.
Los encontrarán.
So you made both of them or they.
You said them.
But we said he will find them or
Oh,
she will
sorry.
find them.
Los encontrará.
Good. Los encontrará. So we want to think about the two things separately. The who is doing the verb and who are they doing it to? Who or what are they doing it to? We said that quedar means to remain, quedar, and to get the meaning of I stay, we say I remain myself. How was that?
Me quedo.
I remain myself.
Me quedo.
Me quedo. Good. How would you say I will stay then? I will remain myself.
Me quedar.
Quedaré.
Good, but quedaré means I will remain. And if you want the
quedaré.
meaning of stay, you must use
Me.
Yeah.
Me quedaré.
Me quedaré. I will remain myself or I will stay. I will stay here.
Me quedaré aquí.
Me quedaré. Aquí.
Good. What was to prepare?
Preparar.
Good. And I will prepare?
Prepararé.
Good. So it's very important to think out the whole verb, preparar, and then add on the e, prepararé. Because a very common mistake that learners make is to say preparé, and they miss out the last r because they don't think out the whole verb first. So we must think out the whole verb first, preparar, and then add on the ending, prepararé. What was to wait or to hope?
Es,
Esperar.
esperar.
Esperar. I will
Esperar.
wait.
Esperaré.
Esperaré.
Good. What was to organize?
Organizar.
Organizar.
Good. He will organize?
Organizará.
Organizará.
Good. Organizará. So the useful thing about the accent being on descending is that we don't have to worry about where the accent goes when we're pronouncing the whole verb. Organizará on the end. Organizará. They will organize?
Organizarán.
Good. Organizarán. Good. What was tired?
Cansado.
Good. Cansado. So how would you say I will be tired? I will be tired.
I will be tired. So I am tired is estoy cansado. Estaré cansado.
Seré. Estaré cansada.
Good. Estaré cansada. Good. How would it will be from ser? It will be
Será.
using ser.
Será.
Good. It sound familiar from anywhere?
Que será, será.
Yes. So very simple, the future tense. Doesn't matter if we have ar, er, or ir verb. We are adding on these endings, and these endings are the same as the different versions of haber. So if we forget them, we can look back to haber, and then we just add that on the end. But in saying that, the future tense is not so often used in Spanish. Most of the time you will find yourself using present or voy a, vamos a. But the future tense does exist, and now you know it.
All right, quick bathroom break, then getting into the video. Okay, so yesterday I started translating this video about how I almost died in Panama, on a boat in Panama. There's more that I want to add to the story here, but first let me just read what I have so far. como casi muero en un barco en Panamá. Cuando era estudiante universitario, fui de viaje a una isla de Panamá llamada Boca del Toro. Una amiga me acompañó. Empezamos el viaje volando a la capital de Costa Rica. Nos quedamos allí una noche. Para llegar a la isla tuvimos que hacer un viaje de 4 horas en autobús hasta Panamá y luego dar un corto paseo en barco. Las carreteras no estaban, las carreteras, the roads, no estaban bien mantenidas, pero el conductor todavía conducía muy rápido. Se metió en un agujero, lo que causó un retraso de 3 horas. Para cuando llegamos a Panamá, ya era de noche. El autobús nos dejó donde se supone que estaba el barco. Sin embargo, el último barco ya había partido. Ya había partido. I can't even read my own handwriting. Estábamos atrapados en medio de la selva por la noche sin ningún lugar donde dormir. Without any place to sleep. Okay, so we found a man that told us he has a boat. So to find is, I just learned this in language transfer. Encontrar. So hemos encontrado. We found. Encontramos or hemos encontrado. Encontramos a un hombre que dijo que tenía un barco. Encontramos a un hombre que dijo que tenía un barco y he could take us y nos perdimos y podría llevarnos a la isla Encontramos a un hombre que dijo que tenía un barco y que podía llevarnos a la isla por $100 cada uno. Encontramos a un hombre que dijo que podía llevarnos a la isla por 100. Would it be cientos or ciento? For 100 a la isla por $100 cada uno. That was almost all the money I had. Estaba casi todo el dinero que había. Era casi todo el dinero que tenía. Or ese era casi todo el dinero que tenía. But we had no choice because he said there were no hotels to sleep in for the night. But we had no choice because there were no. Pero we had no choice. Elección. Pero no tuvimos elección porque. Pero no teníamos elección porque no había hoteles to sleep in donde dormir. Pero no teníamos I don't get why it switched from tuvimos to teníamos. Tuvimos. Okay, so one is imperfect and one is present. Pero this is imperfect. We didn't have a choice porque no había hoteles donde dormir. Pero no teníamos elección. Porque no había hoteles, no había hoteles donde dormir. He also had a gun. También había una pistola. También tenía una pistola. And said, y dijo que nos también tenía una arma y dijo que el barco es nuestra única opción. También tenía es nuestra única opción. También tenía una arma y dijo que el barco es nuestra única opción. El barco era small. El barco era muy pequeño. No había luces. No tenía luces. Y the sky was completely dark. El barco era muy pequeño, no tenía luces y el cielo estaba completamente oscuro. El barco era muy pequeño. No tenía luces. Y el cielo estaba completamente oscuro. El barco era muy pequeño, no tenía luces y el cielo estaba completamente oscuro. So we were on the boat for 20 minutes. Estábamos en el barco durante 20 minutos. Estuvimos. What is. Estuvimos is going to be the preterite of estar. Yeah. I really hope that language transfer helps me distinguish between when to use the preterite and when to use the imperfect and when to use the present perfect soon, because right now I'm essentially wrong all the time. Estuvimos en el barco durante 20 minutos. When everyone realized, cuando everyone, todos, todo el mundo se dio cuenta that we couldn't make it. Now it's llevábamos. What is we were on the boat for 20 minutes when todo el mundo se dio cuenta de que no podíamos llegar. Llevábamos 20 minutos en el barco. Cuando todo el mundo se dio cuenta, de que no podíamos llegar. So, llevar is to take, and llegar is to reach or to arrive. Okay, yeah. So I want to say the boat was taking on water and we couldn't see the island. We couldn't see the island and the boat was taking on water. No pudimos ver la isla. No pudimos ver la isla. No podíamos ver la isla. No podíamos ver la isla y el barco estaba haciendo agua. Estaba haciendo agua. Eventually, is this con el tiempo el hombre dijo que teníamos que return would be let's see what return is. Que tenemos que devolver. Tenemos que devolver. Okay, so let's see if I'm right about that. Con el tiempo el hombre dijo que teníamos que volver. Eventually the man said, finalmente el hombre dijo that we needed to go back. Finalmente el hombre dijo que teníamos que volver. Not bad. And al final el hombre dijo que teníamos que volver. It took us an hour, so like, would that be, había una hora para encontrar volver. Nos llevó una hora en volver. Tardamos una hora. Tardamos. Al final el hombre dijo que teníamos que volver. Al final el hombre dijo que teníamos que volver. It was too dangerous. Era demasiado peligroso. 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 Tardamos una hora en volver. Tardamos una hora en volver. When we got back, cuando habíamos volver, he took us to a hotel that was Cuando volvimos, el hombre took us. Pudi- Cuando volvimos, el hombre nos llevó a un hotel. Cuando volvimos, el hombre nos llevó a un hotel a 10 minutos de distancia. Nos llevó a un hotel a 10 minutos de distancia. We asked, preguntamos por el dinero, pero he showed his gun. Preguntamos, pedimos el dinero, pedimos que nos devolvieran el dinero. Le pedimos que nos devolviera el dinero. Pedimos que nos devolvieran el dinero. But he showed his gun and walked away. Le pedimos I want to also mention that he lied about the hotel. So, in fact, there was a hotel nearby, and he lied earlier. Así que, de hecho, había un hotel cerca y mintió antes. Le pedimos que nos devolviera el dinero, pero mostró su pistola y se marchó. I think I'll end it by mentioning just like he risked all of our lives, including his, for the money. Arriesgó todas nuestras vidas, incluida la suya, por el dinero. Okay. Así que en realidad había un hotel cerca. Un hotel cerca. Y mintió antes. Y mintió antes. Le pedimos que nos devolviera. Le pedimos que nos devolviera el dinero. Pero mostró su pistola y se marchó. Pero mostró su pistola y se marchó. Arriesgó todas nuestras vidas. Arriesgó todas nuestras vidas, incluida la suya, por el dinero. Okay, I'm gonna end the story there. This is gonna be tough to memorize. I have an entire page of writing here, and I haven't even memorized a single sentence. Previously, well, the first week, the first video I made about why I'm learning Spanish, I wrote out a little bit of the video each day and made sure that I committed that little part to memory before adding more to the story. And the reason I decided to change that up is because by the end of the week, I was really good at telling the earlier parts of the story because I had done it for 7 days. But the later parts of the story, I was pretty bad at because I only had 1 day of telling that part of the story. So I decided last week, in the middle of the week, not at the beginning of the week, to change it up and write out everything and then start memorizing it very early in the week. Today's Monday. I have up until Saturday. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, to keep repeating this over and over. I don't know if it's going to work out because now that I see how much I have to memorize, it's kind of daunting. But we'll see. Maybe by Wednesday I got it down and can just focus on making it sound more natural. But on the other hand, maybe I just struggle to memorize little by little, and I end up in the same place that I was before, where the earlier parts are better than the end. On the other hand, the point of this long term is that it will be less memorizing sentences in Spanish and more just telling a story with vocabulary that I already know or at least have been recently introduced to. That's the method that Language Lord is getting at, and I'm just not there with vocabulary and grammar yet to do that straight through with just a few words here and there that I don't know. Right now, it's basically all the words I don't know. I was able to put some sentences together, so I'm happy about that, but we're 16 days into this, so it's pretty hard to tell a story using limited vocabulary. Yeah, so tomorrow I'm gonna read this out loud in Spanish, and then I'm going to make the video and try to stumble through it, the whole story, maybe even using like English translations as cues to get through the story, sentence by sentence. And whatever I don't know, I'm going to say in English and then repeat over and over until I finally get the whole thing down. So I'm going to wrap up for today and tomorrow start making the videos.